When the recruiter came and talked to me, I was 17 and my mom already signed, which is the delayed entry program. So it's basically a program to help you get ready for boot camp. So it's a year long program. So my mom signed at 17, which I had to lie to her to sign. I was like, hey, I'm just going to do artillery. I'm going to be behind enemy lines. I mean, not behind enemy lines, but I'm be in the rear with Marines where I'm not going to be, knocking doors down. I'm not going to do any. She didn't know what infantry was. She didn't know what the Marine Corps was. So me and my recruiter basically lied to her and say, hey, and I told him, I was like, you can't tell her the truth, what I'm signing up for, because she will not sign this paper and I have to wait till I'm 18 to sign it myself. And he went along with it, obviously, they're recruiters. And I was 17 and my mom's just signed it crying her, as much as she wanted to cry. And she's like, just promised me you're going to be okay. This isn't that. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be fine, not knowing what I was getting myself into.
Not only in boot camp, I got throughout my whole military career, I got pushed to the point where I felt like I couldn't move anymore because I was so tired. I had definitely had a lot of those kind of memories. So physically, oh yeah, I when I was in the boot camp, I got pushed to a certain point, and then even after boot camp, I experienced even to another certain level.
They ingrained that in you in boot camp. Like, you're going to be a Marine. Like, you're gonna be a Marine forever. Once you get out, while you're in, whatever the case may be. Like, once you get this done, you're gonna be a Marine. So, and you're gonna get ready to take somebody's life at one point in your life. So, to be honest, from day one, you start doing little things like saying kill a lot. Once you're done doing something, you say kill. And that's ingrained in you. Like, that's in your mind from day one. And once you get out, it's basically the same thing. It never stops. You're just always going to be ready. Like, it's pretty interesting, to be honest. Now looking back at it, it's pretty interesting how, I wouldn't call it brainwash, but a lot of civilians will look at it like that, because if you think about it, it really is what it is. You're just, everything's getting ingrained in you. You're just a well-oiled machine. You're just getting everything like pushed onto you. And you're gonna, something they say is pain retains. So if you're not getting it, you're gonna get thrashed, and until you get it, it's when you're gonna get stopped getting thrashed, and you're like, all right, pain retains. And it's true.
Just physically, I think I got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. But you have to keep going. There, everybody else is, and I don't want to get thrashed anymore. So just try to push through what you can.
When I showed up, I couldn't go to the bathroom. I was so freaking, like, I don't know if it was butterflies or just nervous or whatever the case may be. But I mean, the yelling didn't bother me. The telling us to hurry up and get things done didn't bother me. I was like, all right, just go through the motions. You know, like, in my head, it's like, what's the worst that can happen? I got kicked out. Like, I don't want. In my head, I was like, I don't want to get kicked out, so I'm just gonna do what they're telling me. I mean, growing up, you don't shower with a group of, well, men. We're already men because we're all 18. Maybe a few are 17. But we're all men, and then you just walk into the shower and you're like, okay. I remember the day we were all like already got picked up by our drill instructors, our actual drill instructors, and we're all gonna have to shower. Like, you all run in there at the same time, and then they just spray you with shaving cream, and literally shaving cream just went across my eye instead of hitting me in the face. And I was just like, I couldn't see where the hell I was going, and I was trying not to bump into another guy, and I was like, because you're butt ass naked. But before that, because I was a little bit on the heavier side when I showed up, they had to weigh me in to see if I was going to be part of the weight loss recruits. So they separated us. So if you're underweight, they make you double rep. So basically, they overfeed you just so you can gain weight. If you're overweight recruit, they give you a little tag and it says, okay, you can only have so much food during this time. You can't have more than that, and that's it, type of thing. Or you're gonna have more exercises than everybody else just so you can lose weight. Yeah, I was getting weighed in, and I was one of the last ones to run in there, and that's when they sprayed me with freaking shaving cream across the eye, and I was just okay. I can't see shit now, And it was a horrible experience, to be honest. I wouldn't do that to my worst of enemies, to be honest with you. It's just a bad experience.
Now, there was definitely a bunch of guys that I noticed that would break. I remember there was this one guy that he didn't really talk that much. He wanted to leave, and I remember his way of like protesting of him not wanting to be there was he stopped eating, so he went like on a hunger strike. So they ended up kicking him out of our platoon. We ran into him like right before we were graduating, and he was in the chow hall, and he was super skinny. Cause like getting into the Marine Corps is pretty easy, it's pretty quick, but getting out is a process. And so he was there trying to get out of the Marine Corps, out of boot camp for like at least a good month and a half. And so when we had seen him, he still wasn't eating. He was all he would eat was maybe like an apple and a water or something. He was super skinny. He looked sick. And we're like, oh man, he's like on the brink of dying. But I remember that he tried to jump out of the building. He tried to kill himself, and so he threw himself off the building. Way at the bottom of the building, there's monkey bars. So we would do pull-ups down there, and he jumped off and he landed on those pull-up bars, and broke himself up pretty bad, and he ended up becoming paralyzed. I mean, I heard a lot of stories of guys doing those kind of things, and when I was in boot camp, I specifically remember that guy trying to throw himself out of the building.
Throughout my career, I met a lot of drill instructors too. So even going through boot camp and then meeting drill instructors and becoming friends with drill instructors, it's more about not so much weeding out the weak. It's about seeing if you can make it. Like everything has a process. Everything has some type of process where you're like, okay, this guy, yeah, he's weak right now, but can we make him strong enough not to be weak? And some guys just can't hack it mentally, physically, and it's not like, oh, we're gonna make you, quit. For me, it didn't seem like that. I never saw like even the weak guys that showed up, like by the end of boot camp, they were one of the strongest, if not the better, more refined Marines. But it was never about trying to weed them out. And at the time too, I think the Marine Corps was trying to, when I joined in 2004, they were trying to up the numbers for Marines. I think at one point we are trying to get up to 208 Marines. But yeah, it was never about weeding them out or trying to kick them out. It was trying to see who has the grit, if you can deal with all this yelling, if you can deal with all the exercises, if you can deal with, yeah, you're gonna get belittled here and there.
I was 119 pounds when I went in, and they put me in the double wrap program, so they made me eat more because I was super skinny. And so when I got out of there, I was 135 pounds. So I gained a good amount of muscle mass, and so I was definitely a lot stronger, and mentally it changed me. It gave me a different outlook in life.
Well, I went in like at I want to say 190, weighing 190, came out weighing 175, free lean, super lean. Voice changed more, trying to figure out, who I was now, because I was like physically I changed a lot. And the only thing that didn't change is the smile. Like even when I was graduating, I was trying to, like, you're supposed to be like as serious as possible. And when we're marching by the group of people that came to see me, I was just like I couldn't help but like crack a smile, and everybody in the stands that saw me, they're like, okay, that's him right there, type of thing.
Mainly, I felt like it gave me like a future. It gave me something to look forward to. It gave me a purpose. I didn't feel like I was a nobody. I was now in the Marine Corps, and that meant something. It meant something to my family, and especially to me. I made a good group of friends that are, to this day, some of them are still like they're my brothers. So it definitely learned a lot, and I was just a completely different person. Like the guys that I went to high school and I used to hang out with, I had no contact with them anymore because I just didn't I did not see myself there at that point anymore. I was just different.
You know, other than being homesick, and never in my mind did it cross. It's like, what the fuck am I doing here, or why am I doing this? No, it was like, okay, I'm here. Let's get this done and see where we go from here.